a 6'2" man in a dress identifying as a woman and working at Marks and Spencer's in the UK tried to assist a 14-year-old girl with her first bra fitting. Newsflash, he didn't even work in the department. Yeah, that's what we're reacting to today. Welcome to the Panic Button. I am Nina.
I'm Jessie.
And this is what we're reacting to.
I guess this is what we're reacting to. Disgusting, terrible things.
We've actually want to talk about J.K. Rowling being in the news once again. And my God, we love her for being in the news on these things and taking a stand. This time, she's calling for a boycott of Marks and Sparks, one of the stalwarts of the high street. They pretty much boycotted their customers themselves with their computer glitches earlier this year. But why does the author of the Harry Potter book thinks we should all be refusing to spend our money with M&S?
So this started with a story that came out about a 14-year-old girl who went bra shopping with her mother for the first time, and she realised that a staff member who came up to her and asked her for help, which, by the way, people don't really do when you're bra shopping when you're a teenager. They know to leave you alone. And it was a man's voice. So she looks around and sees that it's a man over 6'2", dressed as a woman, and he's approaching a teenage girl to ask if she would like help with picking out a bra.
I mean, not in any way intimidating or creepy at all for a young girl.
Exactly, and it turned out that this man didn't actually work in the lingerie department.
I'm sorry,
which is
what?
something, I suppose. He didn't work in the lingerie department.
Well, he came over from Fruit and Veg and just thought he'd harangue a 13-year-old girl.
Well, that's right. He was on the floor, wasn't he? So he must have... Like, they wrote...
Have we checked his hard drive?
I'm not commenting on that, Julia.
I would like his hard drive checked.
Marks and Sparks has a policy.
I don't know who this lady is, but man, does she have your energy.
This is a fair question to ask.
Oh, I don't think any of it's unfair. I'm just saying, oh my God, she has Nina energy. Don't you think?
No, absolutely. A very fair question to ask when some freaking predator in a dress decides to approach a 14-year-old girl about bra fitting. Like, where do you get off in front of your computer watching?
Yeah, I mean, you remember going to get your first bra, don't you? Mm-hmm. I remember going to get mine, and I went with my dad, and that was the most embarrassing, harmful moment for my young psyche at like 11 years old.
I can imagine. Now, imagine this little 14-year-old girl who has some freaking burly-ass man stranger coming up to her when he doesn't even work in the department. You know exactly why he did that. And yet, there are so many men on Twitter right now, X, defending the man, pretty much calling themselves out as exactly what they are, predators as well. Thank you, men, for showing your true colors so we know exactly who to avoid. Most trans women, because nowadays, the men coming out as trans, most of them are just predators, if we're being honest.
Well, here's the thing. How often do you see people asking to fit you for a bra anyways? Like,
asking? No, you have to ask most of the time.
Thing. You have to go ask someone. It's usually at a specialty store like Victoria's Secret or something like that where there's normally an entire section devoted to it. And how often are those people men?
No, they're never men.
Or let's just say not biological women.
Never.
Saying.
Never.
Yeah. And not gonna lie, I can say it now because I don't work there anymore, but I used to work for Walmart. And when I was working there, I worked in the online grocery pickup, and I had someone stop me in the middle of my day to ask me about binders and stuff and where to find binders and if this looked appropriate for trans, started showing me a video. And I just showed them the section that had all the bras, and I said, if it's over there, that's where I'd assume it would be. Mm-hmm. And that's all I could do. And I walked away. Like, it's not your place. You shouldn't be bringing that ideology up. If someone brings it up to you, because it's your job, you're going to be respectful and move on. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. To be inserting yourself shows that you are trying to manipulate or at least have something to do with this child's body and everything going on with it. If it was my call and you were trying to even just offer it, it's like, just so you know, the bra section's over there. They have fittings if you talk to this person. Then you walk away. You don't have to make it uncomfortable, even if you are trying to be nice. I'm sure this guy's a freak.
Absolutely.
But my point is, if you are someone who happens to be trans and you work in a store like that, there's a nice way to do it, and then there's a creepy way to do it. Yeah. Just to be like, there's a section over there if you want assistance, and they will help with fittings, versus, do you want help with a fitting?
Right.
Like really weird, really
This
creepy.
is what we call male entitlement in an ugly dress. This is what society, woke society, has done. It's scaring the children. Do you not get it? Hello. Any man who has a daughter would have socked him in the face, but because he saw that she was with a woman, he felt no threat and felt the entitlement to go up to this child and be creepy because of the entitlement of the trans community and society's overwhelming need to protect them, although yet they bitch about the patriarchy. This is the patriarchy alive and well in an ugly dress. Do you not see it? If you don't, you're retarded.
The people who watch our channel definitely see it. But if you're seeing this and you're not a regular viewer, the patriarchy is well and alive. They just put on a costume and said that they wear makeup.
And the woke people are so retarded, they think there's a difference between a predatory man in pants and a predatory man in a dress. There ain't no difference. Now, the creeps, the peeping toms, the dudes in trench coats who flash playgrounds, they're just wearing dresses and they're allowed to get away with all the creepy.
And this is not to say that all trans-identifying people are predators, but there's enough scary ones out there, like this situation, that you have to be on guard, and it makes you really concerned. It's bad representation for the community. That's why we fight for gatekeeping. That's why we fight to keep people like this away from kids. It actually is to protect the trans people. But you guys want to put Trevor Project warnings on our videos, so good luck with that.
It's working out so well for you. The acceptance rate is tanking, and you wonder why.
And we actually have so many people who are trans that enjoy our content, talk with us, that we converse with and have agreements with. But because of the few freaks, you're gonna like really alienate a population of people that you already have.
The majority of the population. You can call us Jekyll and Hyde.
Bring back gatekeeping. It's probably for the best.
Apologised, but they haven't responded to any of the other things that have been coming up for absolutely years. For example, that they allow everybody to identify into whichever changing rooms they want. Women have been complaining about this directly. I have seen a letter that was written in 2017 about this, and the response was, we are inclusive, we are an inclusive retailer. I mean, this nonsense, we are excluding women who want to have a place to get changed in peace. So they've apologised on this, but they haven't actually answered.
What they're saying is they are deranged, entitled, freak male inclusive. That's exactly what they're saying.
Questions about, do you have any male bra fitters who call themselves women? Do you allow men into your male staff into the women's changing rooms if they identify as women? And J.K. Rowling says it's time that we vote with our wallet.
It really is. I mean, it is one of those stores. It's like John Lewis likes to do all the woke thing. You get all the everyone's got the lanyards, and they're the whole of the month of June and usually most of July as well. I remember checking halfway through July, and their Twitter feed, their X feed still had the trans pride flag, and again, not pride flag, the trans pride flag. And they're obsessed with this, aren't they? And again, when they say they're inclusive, as you say, not inclusive of women who want to use...
One second, guys. I want to show you something that I saw today. Someone had commented on this story, and I found it absolutely atrocious. Let me see if I could find it real quick. I think I posted... here we go. Here we go. So this dude right here is named Sophie Molly. And it says, lies, lies, lies. The child was not upset. If she was, then she's a bigot. We're not talking about a 14-year-old girl who is fully responsible for her actions. Stop infantilizing her. It's creepy and wrong. So a creep is defending a creep who's being creepy on a 14-year-old girl.
That doesn't make sense.
Hold on. The
child was not upset.
Oh.
Hang on, wait.
Look at that.
Before you move on, I'm sorry, but before you move on, let's talk about what the statement was. The child is not offended, and if the child was, so you just negated what you said. And if the child was, the child's a bigot. So I'm talking down to a kid. But also stop treating the kid like a kid. You're acting like it's a baby. It is a baby. It's a child. It's 14. You know what? It's not going to be tried as an adult in court. If it steals something, it's not going to get charged as an adult. You are mentally off. Way mentally off. And you're saying things that actively contradict each other, one word after another.
And as we can see, based on the profile picture, it's the usual suspects. Ain't it? No one is surprised anymore. No one.
single-sex basis. I can understand no man wanting to go into a women's changing room in the lingerie section for any reason that is a good reason that women would welcome there. It's a very, you're in a very vulnerable position when you are, completely naked, trying on lingerie, completely, and taking, I remember being taken to M&S when I was a teenager for my first bra fitting. It's a very, it's a mum and daughter moment. You're very vulnerable. You feel quite shy. It is something where you want a sort of a kindly middle-aged lady who's been fitting bras for 13-year-olds or what.
When I had my first bra fitting, and even not too long ago when I had to refit for bras because, you gain weight and I'm fat. But every woman who helped me, yes, they were women. They were usually middle-aged or older. And I felt more comfortable. Because if it was a younger woman even, I would have felt uncomfortable because, you compare body sizes and then you feel fat because you feel like she's judging you. But if it's a middle-aged older woman, you feel a little bit more comfortable. But when you have a 6'2" dude who don't even work in the department approaching you about bra fitting when you are a minor, come on, people. Read the room.
It's absolutely absurd to me that this even went as far as it did. To say that this kid was a bigot even, and then to also say, oh, the kid wasn't offended. Number one, you're contradicting. I don't know what this kid felt at all now. I have no idea how this child felt in this moment, but I can assume it was very uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't be?
And I just think it's all really sad that it's gotten to this point. And this is why people go shopping online. This is why stores are dying. This is why people don't trust. And I hope they do boycott it. I hope it goes just as hard as Dylan Mulvaney's Bud Light campaign.
Absolutely.
Whatever, forever, going, there's probably 9-year-olds now, and say, oh, what would you like? Would you like a pink one or a white one? And it should be a really lovely, warm, lovely women's moment. It's, you don't want...
The way that they tell everyone to treat trans people with respect and kind and soft. They ain't treating this 14-year-old girl that way.
No.
They're being absolutely atrocious, man predator free, acting nasty, showing your true colors out in public.
Even to just sit there and say what you said about the child being bigoted or, oh, the child was offended because I'm trans. Yo, we've been telling you you're scaring us.
Scaring
and children.
Literally.
And now you're like, oh, they were scared. Yeah. We've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You also don't have the context, completely back to the topic of the bra fitting. You don't have the context as someone who was raised in a male body to understand bras and the uncomfortability and what it feels like. Yeah, you might have understood what it was like after you had titties put on and then you started wearing a bra. But from what I've seen, a lot of those people don't wear bras.
No.
Therefore,
they still don't know.
You still don't have the know-how to tell a young girl, you're eventually going to need a different size, they will grow, and if you have other things happen, weight gain, weight loss, you're going to need to... They're not going to have any of that information. They're not going to help you figure it out because they haven't been through it. And they sexualize their titties.
Absolutely.
And yes, women can from time to time too, but 90% of the time, I'd say 99% of the time...
Absolutely.
Women aren't thinking sexually about their boobs.
Nope.
But men are.
Uh-huh.
Don't get me wrong, I love boobs as a lesbian, but I'm not thinking about them 24/7.
No.
I'm not thinking about going up. And when I was working at Walmart, if someone were to ask me to help them with a bra fitting, I would be like, the changing room is there.
Yeah.
And the ladies are there. I don't know what they'll tell you, but good luck.
These trans women have no idea what it's like to be 50% of the population who is weaker, who has to be afraid of the other 50% who are stronger, who have a higher sex drive, and are known for being predatory, sexual assaulters, rapists. 1 in 3 women have been sexually assaulted by a man. You wonder why.
And that's just the reported numbers.
Reported numbers. It's probably higher. These guys have no idea what it's like. They're like, oh, she's just a bigot. No, you have no idea what it's like to be the smaller sex and have to deal with being sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, have them looking at you in a certain sexual way. You have no idea what it's like to live in that world, to live in this body. You have no freaking idea. You want to because you get a sexual gratification off of being, what, sexually that's what happens. These guys have a sexual desire to be act like a woman. That's what happens. That's why a lot of these deranged men are transitioning so they can feel what it's like to be a vulnerable woman.
For them, that's definitely a mental disorder that needs to be addressed.
Well, Dylan said it's not a mental disorder.
It's absolutely a mental disorder to want to be sexually assaulted.
Absolutely.
And that should be addressed, and that is also something that you should address before transitioning. If you're having those kind of fantasies,
Like Hunter Schafer?
you should address it before transitioning. It also shows that you have a very nasty view of what women are used for, and that you want to be used that way, maybe for whatever messed up reasons of abuse or whatever it might be, but you really think that women deserve that or should deserve that, or some women want that.
Absolutely. They absolutely think that. I have read them. I have read stuff that they have posted saying that specifically.
Because some women have different, like, fantasy. They will express them, but there's always people who want that straight gay otherwise. There's always people who want that, but to assume that it's exclusively women.
But the women who have those kicks only want those kicks around men they trust.
Yes. The thing about the misunderstanding that they're not getting is that there's a trust involved in having those kicks, which is being lost in the sex active culture that we have these days. People are just having really kinky sex and then essentially harming each other mentally because they don't trust these people, and then they have these really negative experiences and they wonder why they're so upset, why it was so bad.
Yeah. But go ahead. Be a woman. Say you respect being a woman. You should be respected for being a woman while disrespecting a young girl and calling her a bigot because you think you understand her lived experience. And it's just bigotry.
It's so ironic, like deeply ironic, that someone who wants to be accepted by women is calling what they want to be accepted by a bigot. There's like a deep irony there. It's like so you don't really want to be accepted by those people. You just want to look and you want to take over what they have.
Yeah, like a man.
Otherwise, you'd want to be accepted. When the gays came out, they didn't want to take over straight society. They wanted to get married and have equivalent.
It looks like you're jerking off down there, by the way.
Oh, my leg hurt.
Okay, you need to stop that because that'll get demonetized.
I'm Tectone. Sorry.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
I don't want dad to take. I know there'll be some kids who haven't got a mom and dad. I get that, but it's a moment for mums and daughters, and no. Let's be honest. And I'm going to use this word. No normal man. I'm not referring to whether somebody thinks they're trans-identified or not, but no normal man who cared about a young teenage girl's feelings or concerns would approach a young teenage girl in that way. Whether they were trans or not, because they know it would be intimidating.
It just shows you that there's an incredible narcissism about this movement, that the most important thing about a person is their self-identification, and the job of everybody else is just to affirm that.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't know the man in question, but I mean, the behaviour suggests that he was thinking only about himself here, to say the least.
On that basis alone. On that basis, and it is interesting.
Really half right. He was thinking about his penis.
I just have like a really disturbing connection happening in my head, and I wanted to tell you about it. I don't know if you want to leave it in. I don't care if you leave it in, but I was going to tell you. So like when I went at like 11 to get my bra with my dad, he went up and talked to a dude, and he made a very distasteful joke, right? And this guy was so uncomfortable, and he just pointed at the section and walked away. And I would like to say that is the difference between someone who doesn't care about someone's feelings and someone who's like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable, this poor chick, let me just leave. There's a lot of things that are very uncomfortable about the situation. The man that we approached in the store could tell the level of discomfort I had and therefore left.
Two different types of men in this world.
That's the point at the end of the day. There are guys who think it's hilarious to sexually make fun of women.
And little girls.
And make them, I was 11 at the time, and make them uncomfortable. And they think it's the funniest shit in the world. And then there are the men who realize that these are people that they're looking at and that they shouldn't be making anyone feel this way.
That they're vulnerable people.
Yes.
And they should be protected, not preyed on.
Mm-hmm. It's sad.
interesting because the M&S did actually write to the mother, and we understand how important this milestone is for your daughter. We're truly sorry it did not go as you hoped. We deeply regret the distress your daughter felt during her visit to our store. But the reality is, you say lots of women have been saying, look, I don't want to be behind just a curtain and then know that there could be men on either side at any point. I mean, it's not a locked curtain, is it? For goodness sake, changing rooms are by definition places that should be single sex for a reason. And by the way, 99.9% of men would rather they were single sex. They don't want to change next to a woman either. So that's very simple. The answer is we need to take our money away from M&S for this, because even though they could be doing badly,
a grown man who wants to help a minor take her bra off and put it on is not a good man. He should be in a wood chipper.
I thought that was just known.
It is known, but for some reason, the retards on the left think it's bigotry to protect women from creepy men. Although, if those creepy men were Republicans, regardless if they identified as trans or not, they would be turning over heaven and earth to come at them. Mm-hmm. That's the hypocrisy. That's why I don't trust the fucking left anymore.
I don't trust the left because I guarantee you they're not talking about this.
Why would they? It would go against their...
The people that are just defending the man. Like the one that you showed us earlier.
Yeah, they're showing their true colors, that they are part of the problem. Mm-hmm. They are people who should be in prison as well.
And I think this is the genuine fact of the matter. It doesn't matter if you're left wing, right wing, trans, cis, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This is wrong. And if you can't see that this is wrong, then maybe you should have your mental health evaluated.
No, prison. I'd say at least. Gen Pop Attica.
There's so many things wrong with this, and there's a lot of trans people who will say it, and the people that won't obviously agree with this. And so good luck out there if you're doing anything to do with trans, stay away from these people.
Or call them out.
Speak out about it, because this is ridiculous, guys.
Because these people who are making the news, being creeps, they are the poster men for the trans movement, which is why the acceptance rate of trans specifically is in the toilet, because these men are the ones getting the spotlight, the microphone. Everyone sees it.
Sorry. Definitely speak out, though, because if you have anything that you want people to see that isn't this crazy stuff, you have to speak out, call this stuff out, and then tell us why this isn't how you guys are. Because that's the biggest thing that's giving you guys the issues you're having, is nobody's saying this isn't what we are, because this, and this is what we really are. These people are creeps. There needs to be a line in the sand, and this is why we say keep gatekeeping, because you need to have something to stop predators from attacking young, innocent, and... what did you say? Vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'd like to say that the criminal justice system in the UK and in the US, when it comes to predatory men and PDF files, it's trash. These men are walking, like 90% of them who have been convicted and in prison are out on the street right now just waiting for another victim. And most of them are putting on dresses now because they can get away with it by doing that.
On lots of their other clothing ranges, they do well on their food. But at the end of the day, everyone we know has got M&S knickers, don't they? Well, you know what? We need to stop. There are plenty of other stores that sell the same item, and often much cheaper, by the way. We should take our money away from a store that says it doesn't care about us.
I think we should write and say so too, because, it's easy to get lost among all the other things that are happening, as you say, the IT problems. So, if you're going to make that decision, drop them a note.
Let them know in writing and make it clear. And again, go to the changing room. I want to know, are men going to be allowed in this changing room? And you don't have to be a transphobe to think this, do you?
Not at all, not at all. And I mean, so many department stores have gone gender neutral in their changing rooms. Tell them about that too. It's really not just M&S. And after the court case, the Supreme Court judgment in April for Women's Scotland, the law is on our side. Single sex means single sex.
But what if they don't advertise it as single sex? They do the unisex.
No, true. They can have gender neutral changing rooms, but then, tell them, say this isn't good enough for women. This is worse for women than for men. Yeah. Say so.
It's almost like there was a reason why we had single sex changing rooms for women in the first place. It's almost like there was a reason.
Gender neutral toilets, changing rooms, locker rooms. That is like the red light district for predatory men. in dresses. That's what it is. It's a signal flag saying, hey, creepy guys, need some prey? Come here. We have a slew of prey ready for you. Come on in. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And saying someone is a transphobe makes me laugh because it's like saying someone's a Nazi. We've heard it so much. We've heard Trump is Hitler. We've heard women who don't want men in their private spaces while they're undressing are transphobes. It's been overused so much, it is meaningless and it's laughable.
I'm sorry, I was just asking ChatGPT. ChatGPT said men are the reason that we have separate sex bathrooms, that they, that we're now stuck in a architectural legacy of outdated gender panic. That's what it just told me.
Is outdated gender panic?
Yeah, it was just because I've heard mixed information, so I was interested what it would tell me. It said male lawmakers in the late 1800s began enforcing it during the Industrial Revolution. They started passing modesty laws for the protection of women's health and virtues, is what they say. They argue that women were more susceptible to disease and needed cleaner facilities, which, like, none of this sounds like a bad thing for them to be, like, telling us we should have. Like,
ChatGPT is a woke little bitch. That's what it is. ChatGPT told me yesterday. It told me yesterday that this story was falsified, that it wasn't true.
This is what I've heard. This is what I've heard is that women weren't allowed to use any public restrooms. Mm-hmm. And so they were limited to staying close to their homes because they had to go back home to use their bathroom. So the fourth and the last thing ChatGPT told me was some early feminists, a few women activists actively separated bathrooms as a practical step to get women into school, jobs, and public spaces. So it wasn't just men.
So we can actually be out in public
Yes.
and be safe.
It wasn't that they wanted segregation. It was that there was no restroom at all meant for women, literally meaning they couldn't leave the house. This was known as restroom access issue, the broader fight for women's inclusion in public life. So no, it doesn't sound like it was just men trying to fucking, if anything, it sounds like some men were used to support the cause and they came up with some other reasons that they thought were good and then they said, yeah, let's have women's bathrooms.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like there was anything besides the fact that they couldn't use the bathroom to begin with. They were treated essentially like black people during segregation. Women weren't allowed to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. This is the point I've been trying to say. It's not bigoted to say I don't want men in my space because I want a space that's exclusively limited to women who I could take on if I needed to. And I have privacy to pull down my pants and not feel like someone's staring at me.
Or putting their camera phone underneath the stall to look at you. Although
Or
the trans
off next to me.
Yep. Although the trans activist will say that you not allowing some creepy dude in a dress into your bathroom is the same as black segregation in America. What a fucking insult. Holy shit. The racism with the trans activists, that's alive and well, people.
It's also not the same because we're not saying that these people cannot use the facilities. We're saying that they should go to the facility they were born as.
Yeah, like they say, trans people can't be in sports. No, they can't be in women's sports if they're biological men.
You guys only listen to half the argument.
You don't have a mental disability. You're just actively retarded on purpose. But there's always an underlying evil reason behind it. And every day you prove more and more that I'm right and you're wrong.
Amen, babe.
Like and subscribe, everyone. Join our memberships to keep this channel going because we're a little spicy sometimes.
Yeah.
And comment below.
Share it with a friend.
Or an enemy,
Specifically
please.
an enemy.
Specifically.
I want to piss some people off today.
Absolutely.
Don't you?
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Crawling hard in love.